Today, we're discussing different parenting styles and what we think works best.
But remember, we think. Namita, when we were growing up, or even like more so a generation before that, do you think parents ever thought about the type of parents they were going to be? Did they, I really doubt that parents, when they were disciplining us or they needed to say something to us, do you think they really foresaw, hey, how will it affect this kid in the future? They were aware of our feelings, but would they be so in depth, like we're going? I mean, they did whatever they did was organic, right? Whatever happened.
Think they ever thought so much the way we think right now? Ever?
They themselves, my parents said, we didn't think. My dad was emotional. He used to think about no, nobody should speak like this and that to us. He was particular. And being from an Indian parenting background, other family members other than the parents were not allowed to really say much to us. They said, come to us, we'll take care of our kids. So he was really balanced. But they didn't go into such depth like we did. And as most adults, I hope, feel, I grew up with an amazing set of parents. They were balanced with each other. So one was the fun one was the strict one. And when I was young, I thought my parents were so strict only because they gave me rules. I had rules, me and my brother. And that's hilarious, isn't it? After all, every parent has rules, don't they?
Oh, yes, they do. They do. Well, we used to think so. And I mean, you and me, we are a bit more from a traditional families, right? So, and we had rules. But what we...
So we're traditional parents as well, a little bit, right?
Yeah, definitely. But what we used to think about traditional parenting has all changed now, Simrit. It's completely changed. So we discussed, a couple of weeks ago that there are children who grew up without hearing no. And now that's no different than how our children are growing up. I mean, after all, we are constantly saying no to our kids for something or the other.
Yeah, so that's not like what our kids are growing up.
But Simrit, yet I think our kids get everything they want, isn't it? They figure it out.
They figure it out, yeah. Right. So there are also parents who believe in being so strict even today, with children not having a say in anything. And if parents decide on something, there is no wiggle room, nor do the children have the right to argue with them. So now, as unreasonable as I find it, of course, there are many instances where my husband and me have both decided we're not going to allow our son certain things. There's a hard rule for sleepovers till a certain age. He's 12 and a half and everybody has a gaming console at home, whether it's PlayStation, Nintendo, blah, blah. But he's 12 and a half and he's quite balanced as far as I think. But we discussed it with him a couple of times and we said hard no right now. Let's see what happens in the future, but we've decided against it because I feel that being an only child, it may still be, my husband is particularly strong-willed about this, but we still, we listen to him when he has a sleepover. His friends can bring their console, so it's just for that 2 days or one night. Mm-hmm. And then when he had his birthday, we do the gaming station. So it's a little bad. We still do hard no's, but we have some wiggle room.
Yeah, and that's absolutely fine, Simrit. And what exactly you're talking about is authoritative parenting style.
This authoritative parenting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the style of parenting where children's emotions, feelings, and opinions are taken into account. The parents who stress on open communication between children and parents are called authoritative parents. So you are one of them.
Yeah.
And the communication is two-way, where parents also communicate what they expect from their children. And according to studies, children who grow up in this kind of environment perform well in school. They're more balanced. They're also more confident and they feel secure as adults.
That sounds great, right? We're done. Authoritative parenting, the way to go. But nowadays I've heard of something that sounds even better for the kids, which is permissive parenting. Okay. Yeah. So permissive parenting is a style where parents are really lenient. And they don't set any strict rules for their kids. Now, this style is characterized by very little structure, and it's on a focus of allowing children to express themselves freely. So we've been there, right? We've gone to the mall or to a fancy restaurant, and you see kids jumping around, and you're like, or any kind of public, and you're like, why are they not saying anything? But the thing
I
is,
guess,
the parents are going, what are you going to do? Is they've allowed these kids with like, no discipline. There's no boundaries, and they're like running around. But the problem becomes is that the children, as they grow up and when they get into school or structured education, they have difficulty regarding their own behavior because they struggle with discipline and boundaries. And children have struggled in the long run making decision making, having self-control, taking responsibility for their actions. So let's say you're a child of this permissive parent. You've never been told you broke this door. You're like, oh, why did you do that? But there's no consequence to that. So that exhibits entitlement and lack of respect for authority figures. I mean,
yeah.
it sounds, yeah, right?
Simrit, yes, I agree to most of the part, but I know when people say or doctors say that you need to let your child express, let them open up their minds, they're just growing, they let them be more expressive. I agree. The initial years, like maybe up to 2 years or 3 years, it's okay to be, this permissive parents. But if slowly, or I would say gradually, you have to be like, you have to set those rules or structures, which could
Absolutely.
actually,
So that's also a different style, right? Like, oh, till two, don't say no, let them. I still think you can tell them, okay, this isn't like, when we're on a mountain hill, don't jump off the cliff. But yeah, whatever. I'm sure they do that too. I'm being
yeah,
extreme. I think a little, our style was different, but I still feel that allow your child to be creative. Don't worry about messes and things like that. Like I would
yeah,
have parents say, you're wearing dress clothes and don't do this. And I was like, yeah, let the kids be kids. So there's different styles. But yeah, structure is still needed when you go out in public. This is my opinion, of course. I mean, we brought our child. I believe in creativity even at this age. If the child is out and he doesn't need to conduct himself, like if they're touching a dog, as long as we know, they've been vaccinated, like let them do it. It scares me, but they should be able to what, right?
yeah,
So but in the long run, they need to know what authority figures are, and they're not entitled.
yeah,
It's there are two things. Like so, kids need to develop. What is our job as parents? We need to figure that out. Our job is to develop good adults, right? Good human beings in the long run. Help them succeed. Help them develop the correct skills to cope with failure, to cope with success, to become successful, right? And have good social interactions. And yeah, that's
absolutely.
my opinion.
Absolutely, Simrit. So, Simrit, I mean, I get to meet a couple of these kids in the park where my daughter goes to play, and they have like strict rules about things where, oh, I have to reach home by this time. My mom is going to scold me. My mom would be very angry, and I'm supposed to be sharp in the bed sharp at 9 o'clock. I'm supposed to be doing this. Oh, if my daughter says, oh, I will not take it. Oh, I will not do this. My mom says this. No, my and I was like, oh my God, this is like too much, right? So I mean, I would say that is called more of authoritarian parenting, where
Yeah, it's a
where you have strict rules and very high expectations, and with little
yeah.
warmth or nurturing. I know where parents go, oh, you have to win this competition, oh, you have
Yeah.
to win it, no matter what.
Why did you lose that one mark in math? Such a stupid mistake.
Exactly. I myself heard parents saying that in PTM. I heard that. It's like, oh my God, such a big deal. And the child, himself was so stressed. Oh, I don't know how did it happen. Oh my God. I mean, as if the child has done a big blunder, how to, clean that mess. So, the
Yeah,
children of authoritarian parents may struggle with their self-esteem, their social skills, and I mean, they may rebel
absolutely.
against their parents when, I mean, in the strict control.
Of course.
And
Right.
in fact, many Asian parents use this style of parenting. Okay, danda wala
Yeah.
jo
Asian,
hota hai na?
Asian parents. Chinese. Yeah, exactly. Asian parents do,
Yeah, they don't
right?
believe in the warmth or fuzzy parts of the
So
parenting.
having said this, when I'm teaching my child, and especially when it comes to math, which all of us want, and it's really stupid. It's our mindset. It's not the kid's fault. But like when I'm teaching him, I'm like, don't make this mistake. I do tell him, I do get upset with him. But when it comes to results and stuff, I'm like, listen, like he had a test yesterday. I'm like, look, whether you studied or not, now whatever the result is, don't cry. It's okay. Now it's done. Let's not cry about what's happened. So when there's a way of balancing it. Like I'm not saying that's right. I need to develop more patience when I teach him. But we have to know that, what's done is done. Making the child feel guilty in the long run is not good for that.
That's not good. That's actually not good. That's very bad for their confidence, for their self-esteem. So, I mean, this kind of parenting was there during the older times where children were meant to be seen and not heard. It's like that. Spare,
Famous saying, right?
spare the rod,
Spoil the child. Yeah,
child.
absolutely.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
So I very outdated. Agreed.
so I mean, of course, they criticize their kids. There's a lot of criticism involved, constant nagging, and having high academic expectations, as we are talking about. I mean, this play a very big role in the child losing his, overall personality. It's just it's more of detrimental, for their mental health. And
Absolutely. Absolutely.
you
Yeah.
will see the child changing over the period of time, and you would be shocked to see, at one point
Yeah.
it's like this, and all of a sudden you say, oh my God, what just happened to the child when the child
Yeah.
become an adult? So yeah.
So another form of parenting, which is really popular these days, you guys have all heard it, is helicopter parenting. Such a common word, right? Especially used for moms, helicopter moms. So the teachers love this because
there's this movie also, you remember what? Helicopter
yeah, there was some.
Ela or something, that
Yeah.
parent.
I never watched. Yeah, but I heard about
I
this.
also heard.
So the teachers love this because for them, life is becoming very difficult with such moms and parents, I'm sure. So this style thrives by high levels of involvement in a child's life, often to the point of being overprotective or intrusive. So nowadays, it sounds great. I have all this time for my kid. I go and I'm guilty of some of this, and I think all of us are like kid constantly. We're there. Every decision, we're there. We're at school. Every practice, go to their play dates. But guys, study with them. Lovely. Huge problem. Children of helicopter parents may struggle with this independence and decision making. They will have difficulty when it's time for them to fly, and they're like, hang on, why don't I? And I see my son doing it sometimes. No, I can't decide. So I'll be like, no, I'm shut. You have to decide, or else we're not making any decision, because you realize that this is going to be a problem. He's still young. I could make all his decisions, but no, I'm not going to. And they have difficulty, again, coping with failure or disappointment because they become so dependent on the parents constantly taking the lead. So that's also not the best scenario for kids. Be involved, be there, be part of the school scenario whenever you want, but hands off.
Absolutely, Simrit. Well, I guess we have a winning style from Simrit and Namita point of view. Right?
Correct.
Well, it's a long process. It's a never-ending process. The takeaway for today is that parenting is tough. It's true. Kids don't come with a handbook. Sorry. Okay. Well, the takeaway for today is that parenting is tough, and it's true. Kids don't come with a handbook, but it seems like the best, the most successful style of parenting is the authoritative parenting, which establish clear rules and expectations, but give children the liberty to make mistakes without punishment and judgment. I mean, parents who are responsive to the children's needs and emotions, and the children develop good coping skills and have better social relationship as they grow up, and overall more balance.
Absolutely. Authoritative parenting, the way to go, according to all studies. Yeah. Anyways, that's all on Talk to Us today. But we look forward always from hearing from you guys. So if there's anything that you guys see that you like about our show, do let us know in the comment section. Because we do get emails, but we're not getting your comments in the comment section. Please do interact with us. We love to be in touch with all of you guys. Email us at hello@talktoustoday.com and let your friends know where to find us. And please, please, please Don't forget to hit that subscribe button down there. Hit the bell to stay notified of all our new videos every Friday at 6 p.m. Also, don't forget to follow our podcast on Spotify. It's under the name Talk to Us Today, and you'll find all our new and old talks on the podcast. So don't forget to follow us there. Thanks for joining us on Talk to Us Today. Remember to talk about Talk to Us Today.
Okay. Yeah.
Smiling. Keep laughing.
Laughing.
And keep talking. Communication, guys. Keep talking.
Talking.
Bye. See you guys next week. Thank you.